The Grady and Big Joe Show. Talk sports at 239-1070. Or email us, GradyandJoe@1070thefan.com. Now, here's Michael Grady and Big Joe Stasiak.
And good morning. Grady and Big Joe Show, 107.5, 1070 The Fan. Michael Grady, Big Joe Stasiak on location today, y'all. Pacers golf outing. What year is this, Joe?
2018.
That's a good, thank you.
Duh. Come on, Grady. You've been in New York too long.
Stop bringing up New York. What year is this for the Pacers golf outing?
For us being out here, it's got to be close to. We've been on 7 years. It's got to be about at least 6, right? We could start thinking about some of the interviews that we've had, and that might help us. Who was the guy asked?
Damo Rudesh.
Monkey brain.
Damo Rudesh. Yep.
We talked about who was the guy that the veteran backup that could take his teeth out.
Rodney Stuckey. Rodney Stuckey.
Oh, there's some guy that likes to, some cat around here that likes to drink a lot of milk.
Likes to drink a lot of.
Can you hear him?
Who's?
It's Boomer. Boom. Grady wants to know how many years we've been out here. He says everything's 9 lives.
Does it have enough fingers?
One for every life.
One for every.
There's nothing better than that. A mime on radio. That's the best.
Oh, miss you, Boom. Miss you, Boom.
Greg says he misses you.
Yeah.
Oh, he went right to the heart.
Oh, appreciate that.
Right to the heart. And then he just dropped me off some Jack's Donuts. Thank you.
Oh, man, I'm jealous. Jealous. A lot of good stuff to get to today, so we're going to have a lot of dignitaries from the Pacers brass coming through, saying hello, and bragging about their golf skills, talking a little bit about their offseason. It's hard to believe that this NBA season is right around the corner. Training camp for next week. Next week for some folks. So
what did we say, David?
It's crazy.
1 month until the game? First game?
As of Monday, it's exactly 1 month from this past Monday, the 17th.
It's unbelievable.
Not that I'm counting or anything.
When do you start with the Nets?
Media day's Monday, and then training camp every day after that, and then we go to Montreal in 2 weeks for an exhibition game with Toronto. So,
and you're back here early in the regular season, right? Like that first weekend?
Yeah, it kind of stinks. So I'm there. They're early in the season, which is great. They're early in the season, and then they're at the end of the season. There's no in between. So it's like, hello early in the season, and then there's a couple stops for the Pacers in Brooklyn, which would be great. But as far as going to Indy, it's beginning of the season, end of the season. That's it. So no.
Might as well just stay here.
Right.
You get back.
I agree.
Might as well. But it's hard to believe, and the fact that you get so caught up in football season and these first 2 weeks of the NFL season, you kind of forget that basketball is damn near here. But we'll be talking about preseason games in just a few short weeks, so it's really hard to believe, especially with the fact that they've moved up the season a few weeks, because they used to start around Halloween, and now it's preseason games are the first week in October now. So everything is coming at you really fast, and it's different from the NFL in that the NFL wants to give you all football all the time. Them moving the season up has nothing to do with more exposure. It has to do with we need to spread these out so we don't have too many back-to-backs or 3 games in 5 days or whatever it may be. So they're trying to spread out the season so that these guys are fresher. So that's a big reason that they're starting earlier, and a lot of optimism about the Pacers and what they can do, and a lot of question. There's optimism, there's questions, there's a lot of different things that people feel about this basketball team, and I think for the most part people want to see if last year was no fluke at all. So
I know there's one guy that knows pretty well, or should know. You got alcohol in there? I'm sorry. Kevin Pritchard, your president of basketball operations, is putting on a headset. I think I turn it around the other way.
What the hell, Joe?
Go this way. What? You told me just to introduce him when he got here. So you're still putting it on backwards. There you go. He's got a donut in his hand. Got a drink. How are those?
Unbelievable. I love them.
See, we're used to having people just talking with mouths full on the air. That's my gig, so I love it.
Grady, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm Michael Grady. No, Grady's
He's
back.
always got his foot in his mouth.
Oh, dang, Grady. You hear that?
Yeah, I did when I picked the Pacers over Atlanta and over Dallas in the middle of the season. I definitely put my foot in my mouth. Put my in my mouth then.
Ouch.
I definitely did.
Ouch, that's a low blow.
But you know, I'm cheering like hell for you guys. You know, I'm cheering like hell for you guys, and want the best
from
for them.
Brooklyn. I get it.
Yeah, well, hey,
Cheering like hell from Brooklyn.
well, hey, it's no different than working at Amazon in Indianapolis and cheering for the Pacers. It's just a job. So,
okay,
yeah,
good.
you
thought about that analogy many times. That was the first time you've ever thought about that.
No. How did this season and your preparation and what you were trying to do for this team, and what ways was it different and a different challenge in what you had to do last offseason, Kev?
Well, when I took over as president, literally within 2 months, I had to trade our best player and one of the best Pacer players that's ever played here. And so that created all these unique challenges. But I felt like our team was prepared for it. We didn't know how it would turn out, but we went into the marketplace. We said we were going to trade him. We made no bones about that. He didn't want to be here, and we got that. It hurt me because I really wanted to have a chance to put a team together with him. And so we'd have all these conversations, and I flew out to L.A. a couple times and said, okay, here's some plans. This is who I want to go after. I was thinking big. It wasn't like I'm going to go after a C player or a D player. It was like, let's add a B plus and maybe one A minus, and let's really get competitive in the East. And because of that, I thought that we were developing this nice rapport. We were talking about players. He was giving me some input. I was telling him, maybe this one or this one. And so we had this great dialogue and with his agent. And then a couple days before the draft, he says, no, I don't want to be here. Please trade me. And the one thing that we feel good about is we like players wanting to be here. That's
Absolutely.
important. Indiana Pacer basketball means something. I know we have a long history, championships in the ABA, and we haven't done it in the NBA, but we've had some phenomenal games in our buildings, Market Square and now BLF. And we're going to continue to have good teams because our ownership is amazing. Herbie is amazing. We had an opportunity after Paul left to go, I hate this word, tank, but go play the younger guys, right? And start sort of shallow out, build with younger guys, and then move it back up. And we put a plan together, and literally a couple days before July 1st, he said, I don't want to go and shallow out. So what I really want to do is I want to build the best team for this community. He kept saying, I want to build the best team this year for this community. And so to me, we changed our models and we said, look, there's a couple players out there. Darren Collison, underutilized, undervalued in a big way. Bojan Bogdanovic, our scouts were like, look, we think he's good enough to be a starter, but we've got to get him in a place where he's confident and he feels good about it. And Nate was awesome about teaching him how we defend, and he had a hell of a year for us. And then it was really about letting Victor blossom. Victor's usage rate in Oklahoma City was like very little. And we knew that if we gave him the ball and let him be Victor and help him, help him make the right decisions game in, game out, we knew his work ethic would start to show and trickle down to everybody else. I feel like we played harder than any team in the NBA. I really do. That came back from a lot of GMs. We'd play a team and everybody would go, geez, you guys play hard every night. And I think that got us over a few extra wins, the close wins. We won a few games we probably shouldn't have. And then it got to be a point where we lost 5 games in the middle of the season, but we're having a pretty good season. And our guys I could see it in their eyes, and I talked to a few of the players. They felt like that they could win a lot of games the rest of the season. This was like with 40 games left. And I was worried. That's my job. I worry. But we keep calm waters. One of the things we really try to emphasize in everything we do is we stay calm waters. And that team stayed calm waters. We'd get down 15. They'd go over to the bench, and they'd go, come on, guys, we're all right. Let's just keep playing. Let's keep plugging away. In bad teams, you're down 15. You come over to the and they want to argue. And there's really, in the NBA, if you really want to know a good team versus a bad team, watch the bench and say, if you see the players all yelling, pass the ball, that's a bad team. If you see everybody saying, shoot the ball, it's a good team, because you're getting ball movement and everybody's saying, don't be so unselfish. And when they're saying pass the ball, it's because everybody's shooting too early. And so we had a team last year, and I give full credit to Al Jefferson. He was our most important player. He made sure that we played right all the time. He was phenomenal that way.
You mentioned the word value, and I just want to set the record straight on that. Herb and the mindset on salary cap and luxury tax and all that kind of stuff, and paying guys money and going and being aggressive on big name guys. There's a stigma that maybe the Pacers aren't willing to spend whatever it takes?
Well, I think there's two parts of that, Joe, and that is this. You have to have the ability to go get those players, right? So you have to have cap space, because if you're over the cap, the most you can offer is $8-9 million, and you're not getting a major player for $8 to $9 million. So last year we were able to get about $25 to $30 million, and we looked at those guys. We made pitches, and we were in on some. Believe it or not, we were second in one guy's thoughts. And
give up names. Come on.
No, I can't do that. Can't do that. Right. I wouldn't do that to that player or that organization now.
Class guy.
But this summer we're going to have $45 to $55 million, and that gives us a unique proposition of Victor's under contract, Domas is under contract. Miles will be a restricted free agent, and I expect him to be back if things work out. So we have three guys and a boatload of money, and maybe we can sell the partnership. Like, hey, two good players. You want to come here? You got a chance, and that means we're going to be spending $150, $160 million down the line. Maybe not next year, but down the line, because you're going to have to pay everybody. And Herbie has said, if you can do that, I'm in, but you got to get that done first. And to me, it really comes down to, can we have a good enough season this year where players say, man, that's really special. I want to be a part of that again, because I think the league thinks this, that maybe we're a one-hit wonder. Mm-hmm. They don't know yet that, man, this is going to be a consistently good thing. And we work on our culture so much about building this family, we're about the players, and we're about developing the players, and we're about a really good, solid family. We work every day at that, and that's what I want to attract a couple of good players. But you never know.
Kevin Pritchard, team president for the Indiana Pacers, joining us live at the Pacers golf outing. Look, this is all due respect to Daryl Morey, but there is no way he should have been Executive of the Year last season for adding Chris Paul, considering the fact that after last year's, not this most recent one, but before that, Paul's last year here, when the narrative was Paul has nobody, Paul has no help. Of course Paul would want to leave. He has no help. And then you fast forward to the team that you built last season that pushed LeBron James and company to the brink of elimination. There's just really no comparison, considering all the new faces that you brought in and how well it worked together. It speaks to what the guys that you brought in. It speaks to the way that Coach McMillan coached those guys up, and the coaching staff coached those guys up, and the mentality that each of those players that you picked that they brought to the table. And so I'm sure building on that will be a challenge when taken to that next level. And the fact that LeBron is out of the Eastern Conference ought to make things awfully interesting.
With LeBron being gone, it helps us in the playoffs. It hurts us in the regular season, because he's not playing 4 games against Detroit and Chicago and Milwaukee. So they have a better chance of winning, which makes their record better. So I think it helps us in the playoffs, because that sucker has beaten us so many times in the playoffs, and you tip your hat every damn time. But I was a little sick of it. But last year was a really a magical season in that, because we were predicted to win 28 games and we ended up winning 48 games, it set some expectations. But Grady, I'm a big believer. I read some of the stuff. I don't read everything. I'm not so sure that we get the respect that we deserve yet. We're still the hunter. We're not hunted yet. I mean, we're predicted 6th or 7th in the East right now, and we were 5th last year. I do believe we're going to miss Lance. There's no doubt about it. Lance brought a unique craziness and edge, and we love that part. But Tyreek Evans is a hell of a basketball player, and if we can get him to buy into what we're about, we're going to be all right there. And Kyle O'Quinn, for me, is one of the best bigs off the bench. You look at his analytics. Yeah. His analytics say he's a starter. He's a starter good. And we met with those guys and Doug, and we sat down with those guys, and we're like overly transparent. So we have dinner with them, and we basically tell all three of them, look, we had a good team. We're bringing back the top 7. We don't know how you fit. You're going to have to figure that out. It's a smaller role, maybe. And if you don't want to come, we get it. We like you. We'd like for you to come. And every one of them called back within an hour and said, I want to be a part of that. And so I know we're on the right track. I don't know if we're on the right track for a championship, but I know we're on the right track in developing a good culture.
The Kyle O'Quinn was a guy I saw several times last season, in the Atlantic Division, and his bully ball, he just annoyed guys, just really annoyed guys with his bully ball, his motor, and that's going to be massive. That's going to be massive for Indiana. And then of course having a shooter in Doug McDermott makes the team more versatile. But the two guys near the top. Matter of fact, let me just go with the bigs. How do you see this? Is it just too early, or are you already thinking about how the Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis dynamic will work? Because those are two big men who have yet to have shown great flashes, but are still working towards tapping into their full potential.
Well, I would say this. One thing gives us a lot of encouragement is that both of them are really good human beings. Like, they're really good people, and they're for the team. You see Miles, sometimes when he went in there in the fourth quarter and we win a game, he'd be just as excited, and same with Sabonis. So I like that culture right there, that they're excited about everybody else. But Domas went down to Dallas and worked out with Miles for like 7 or 8 days, and they developed this great chemistry and great friendship. And so it's interesting because bigs like bigs. They actually really like each other because they're different. It's like bigs are different. I liked when I was on teams, I liked the other point guards. It's like he knows what I'm going through. I got to guard Kevin Johnson, and we're both going, Jesus, I can't believe we're guarding Kevin Johnson, so you have a little bit of foundation to talk. But I have a feeling that Nate's going to play some of those guys together. We're going to look at that. We're not afraid to go big. Being contrarian in this league, if you're doing what everybody's doing, sometimes all you do is become average. And so you got to think about how we can be a little different, and Nate's not afraid to be different. So I can see us going really small at times. I can see us going big at times. And, when you play against, I'm trying to think, Detroit with Blake and Drummond, you better put some size out there, or you're going to get abused on the boards. And we have some options to go big with Kyle and Miles and Domas. I can tell you this: you put Kyle and Domas out there, you got some beef. You got kind of like the old days with the Davis brothers. You got some physical guys that like to hit. Like Joe. Joe likes to hit. No, he
doesn't. No,
Grady and I are like the odd couple.
Yeah. What Victor Oladipo's motor, and he's really scary, and you know this as well as anybody because you've seen him behind closed doors and the work that he's putting in this offseason. He was tremendous last season, but the fact that he is not satisfied, and you believe him when you say that he's not satisfied, is kind of scary for opposing teams.
Well, I don't know because I haven't seen many of his workouts. We went down there a couple times this summer, and I can tell you it's intense, and it's long intense. It's not like a 20-minute workout. It's like 4 hours. So he's in phenomenal shape, and he's hungry. Oh, my God, he's hungry. I would be shocked if he doesn't make a huge move. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean more numbers, more points? I'm not sure. I just think you're going to see a guy that goes from being a good player that makes himself better to a great player who can make his teammates better. You're going to see him making plays for his teammates because everybody's going to try to take him out of the game. And his motor is crazy every single day. It's crazy. He comes in, he's the first one in, he's the last one to leave. He's always in a good mood. Literally last year, after 2 months, I looked at Chad Buchanan, my general manager. I said, is this real? Like, is he really this? And a year and a half or a couple months later, he really is that. I will say this. I don't think he's got the top motor on the team now. Somebody else might be taking it.
Uh-oh. I wish that was a tease so we could come back with it, but you got to give that up now.
Alizé Johnson.
Oh,
really?
So, on point. Yes.
If you saw anything in Summer League, he's involved with he has no clue how to play yet. Like, he doesn't know NBA basketball. He's just got these amazing instincts. He'll go out there in 5 minutes, get 5 rebounds, 3 assists, turn the ball over 3 times. But if we can corral him into what we think he can be, he's got a chance. We're excited about him. And I know this. When you go into camp, your veterans tell your young guys, hey, man, don't go so hard. He's not going to listen. He's going to go. Thad's going to look over at me and go, geez, will you slow this guy down? That's fun.
Guys like that are great, and he's got a Jimmy Butler-type body, and with that kind of motor, it's really bananas.
It's a crazy motor. I've never seen anything like it. Now, the question can he do it against the big boys? You know, he's doing it against Summer, and he's doing it against in September when it's not all the top players. Can he do it against the next level guys? I don't know what his role will be this year, but we're pretty excited about the 50th pick in the draft, believe it or not.
I know you got to run, but we want to sneak one more at you real quick because it happened this offseason. Why was this the offseason? Why was it important to extend Coach Nate McMillan?
Well, first of all, I would say this. This is my 11th year working with Nate, and I know him, and I believe in that continuity, that relationship we have. And let's be honest, Nate and I are good friends, first of all, but at the end of the day, we argue. Like, we get in some nice little tiffs, and it's funny. We've been through the wars together. You know, we've been through some tough times together, and we'll get after it on each other. And then the next day we'll go, you want to get a beer? Yeah, let's go get a beer. And it's like put behind us. And so because of that, I wanted that complete continuity. And the guy can coach his butt off. I mean, he works his tail off every single day. He cares about it deeply. And I felt like our whole coaching staff, that continuity, being able to come in a year and saying, you know, Nate's going to be here for a while, and, you know, we're going to be here for a while, and the players feel like that there's not going to be a lot of turnover. There's a lot of things about feeling comfortable going into the year that gives you a head start. I don't know if it'll happen, but that was my goal.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Kev. Look forward to seeing you in, I think, late October.
Yep, that's right.
Late October. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Glad to do it, Grady.
That's the great Kevin Pritchard, team president for the Indiana Pacers. Really excited about what's to come this upcoming season. Quick timeout. More from the Pacers outing coming up next here on 107.5.